My wife baby trapped me. I put baby trap in quotation marks because I'm not sure what she did is the actual definition of baby trap. She didn't have a kid to make me stay, just against my will. So my wife, 32 female, and I, 34 male, have been together for 8 years. We have a little girl, 5 female, and a baby boy, 2 male. I love both of them more than anything, and I finally feel like I have everything. A beautiful wife, 2 healthy kids, a great career, and a big house. The token American dream, minus the dog. I'm allergic. When we talked about kids before, my wife always said she wanted 2. I only wanted 1. It would be easier, and we'd have more money for vacations and stuff, but my wife maintained it's important for a child to have a sibling. I grew up with 4 and my wife with none, so I guess I understand where she's coming from. After our son, and getting through the baby years and sleepless nights for the second time, I didn't want to ever go through that again. Both kids were very fussy and colicky, but when he was a year old, my wife began casually mentioning a third. I would laugh it off, but finally she sat me down and said we have to have a third. I said no, we agreed on 2, but she said she wanted 4 and 3 as the compromise. I refused and said I wanted 1, and we have 2. She got angry and called me selfish for taking away her dream of wanting a big family. A couple days later, she apologized and we had sex. I noticed her drive increased exponentially, but so did mine, and I was happy to engage her. She was on birth control. I had a condom. It was all good. Thinking back on it, I probably should have figured something was up, but I was barely handling 2 little kids and work on top of housework and yard work and everything. I came home from work one day while the kids were at their grandparents'. My wife had a huge smile on her face, and she sat me down and showed me a positive pregnancy test, literally dancing in joy. My first thought was, oh shiz. My wife noticed a less than happy expression on my face and started screaming at me. She berated me for not being supportive, and this was a miracle from God and I should be grateful. I said I was sorry and hugged her and said I was super excited for the baby. My wife was delighted, and later that night she was calling all family and friends to happily tell them the news. When she was talking about the nursery and how we'll convert my office into a room, I started to get a little suspicious. Everything was so well thought out, and it seemed like she'd been planning this for a while. When she was asleep, I took the condoms out of the cupboard and ran them under water holes. I nabbed her phone and saw she'd set a password. That was odd. Nevertheless, my wife has a terrible memory, so I tried her birthday and it opened. Further up were texts with her best friend of my wife complaining how I wouldn't come around. Her best friend suggested arrange an accident with a winky face. My wife agreed and said she was going to come off of birth control. It went on for a little while, ending with my wife saying that yes, we were going to have a third. So I woke her up immediately and asked her if this had really been a miracle. She got that deer in headlights look and burst into tears. She wailed and then she got angry. Through tears she screamed I had no right to go through her phone and it's her choice whether or not she wants to take birth control. The side effects are bad and she was sick. She also brought up if I really didn't want a third kid, I should have had a vasectomy. She told me to go sleep on the couch. I laughed out loud and said no, I'm sleeping here, you're leaving. So while wailing she packed a bag and left to her parents. When she called the next day I told her I just need some time to myself. She said that's fine, but I need to come around for our child. I told her I wasn't sure if it'd be our child and she cried more. It's been 2 weeks since then. Governments recommended to stay at home, and I knew staying home by myself while also working with 2 kids would not be ideal, and she wanted to see our kids. So we are in the same house. She constantly keeps on stopping me and trying to get me excited for our kid and planning the nursery and names and how happy our kids will be to get a younger sibling. I've been ignoring her entirely. What do I do? Staying home with her is bad enough, and I don't know if I should leave her over this. I don't trust her anymore. She entirely betrayed it. I'm angry. But I have another child on the way. This is a huge betrayal by your wife and honestly, could be a deal breaker leading to divorce. Having a child is a big emotional, physical, and financial decision that should involve two partners. She's selfish, entitled, and manipulative. I would consider the following. 1. Get a lawyer. Discuss your options. 2. Get screenshot evidence of the texts between her and her friend. Record her admitting to tampering and lying with her birth control and your condoms. 3. Get a couples counselor. You can get virtual sessions during the pandemic. This is important to either save your relationship or to help mediate a divorce. 4. Get a paternity test. 5. Be honest with people why you two are separate. She's going to lie and be manipulative about what happened. 6. Document interactions and record any fights with her. She can't be trusted. Avoid her claiming abuse or other things by having proof. What's most worrisome and makes we worried your marriage is over? 1. She lied. 2. She blamed it on you for not getting a vasectomy. 3. She's not sorry. 4. She doesn't respect your view, needs, or opinion. If she can't see how wrong she is and how much she broke your trust, hurt you, this marriage won't recover. I'm sorry you are in this terrible situation. Opus very gently. If I were in your place I would explain to her that you need to be left alone because she abused you with reproductive coercion. Kids are so sensitive and perceptive. They would pick up on it no matter how well you tried to hide this anyway, so please be gentle with yourself about them noticing. It cannot be helped at this time. You have just discovered that your partner, their mom, betrayed you on the deepest fundamental level against your expressed wishes and was planning to keep that betrayal secret for probably the rest of your lives. You are processing trauma and grieving over the person you thought you married, the shock of the new monster that is now inhabiting her body and face and voice. It is a nightmare. It is okay that they sense something is wrong. Remember, you are also modeling to them how to deal with catastrophe, even if they are without the details and context. As parents we can do that respectfully and firmly by setting boundaries with the one who has so deeply harmed us. It would not help to fake it or perform that you are getting along with your wife at this time. That would model something far worse to your kids and they would see through it anyway. Simply acknowledge what they are saying so they do not feel gaslit and pivoted immediately to assurances of your love for them to shore up their sense of stability. Again I'm so very sorry to hear about all this. As someone who was baby trapped, I have to tell you, whether you talk to a lawyer or not about the fact that you were raped, legally speaking, please absolutely make sure you start seeing a counselor. And if you're not jiving with the one or ones you talk to, keep looking for a new one until you find one you do get along with. I was too young and poor to be able to afford therapy, so I did the only thing I knew I could do. I avoided the mother and the child because I couldn't even think about him without thinking of her, and I'd get irrationally angry. Actually it was rational, but all I knew was he didn't deserve that, and to at least protect him from that I stayed away. As the years passed I realized I'd missed any chance of a relationship with him, so I planned to wait until he was 18. Then write him a letter. When he was 16 someone I was dating said, "How do you know he doesn't need you right now?" I realized I was 16 when she'd trapped me, so I realized maybe I shouldn't wait. We talk now, but I doubt he'll ever see me as anything but a distant uncle, and over the years I've come to really regret the choices I made. If nothing else, for your own health, try to seek a counselor. You may not want a relationship with this child, but you don't know, that might change over time. At the very least they don't deserve what their mother did either. What she did was not out of love for them. She probably believes she does, but her beliefs are so divorced from her actions she's bordering on delusional. This is awful. Not only was she being selfish, but what kind of effed up mother thinks it's a good idea to bring a child into the world against the wishes of her partner? That hurts the child beyond measure because the father will never bond with that child the way he bonded with the other. She has seriously hurt that baby. It's selfish, short-sighted, and incredibly, I don't even have the right words. As a mother myself, my heart is just hurting for that child. I personally wouldn't be with someone like that. But a situation like this is above Reddit's pay grade. It's a delicate ethical thing that only you should decide going forward. No one would blame you if you left her, but you need to decide how to proceed with the baby. I would really encourage you talk to a counselor. BetterHelp.com and Talkspace.com are both online options for the time being. If you want to ask her to leave, you're well within your right to do so. You could give her a bunch of resources to find an apartment, or call one of her family members to ask if she could stay. Maybe give her some counseling resources as well, because you have to be seriously ill to think this is okay. I wish you the best. This is a hard situation, and I'm so sorry it happened to you, especially in the middle of a reffing pandemic. My mother stayed with my abusive father because she thought it would be better for us to grow up in a two-parent household. He never physically hit her, though a lot of physical disciplining with us, so she somehow rationalized that he wasn't abusive. I would have much rather grown up in a one-parent home than have to go through what I went through. I can't tell you much my father fucked up my mind and affected the choices I made as a teenager and young adult. Not to mention the fact that my mom became a silent shell over the years due to the emotional abuse, and the end result of that was that there was no one ever telling me that my dad was wrong about the things he would say/do to me. I didn't have a stable adult to take care of me. I ended up being abused by one and neglected by the other. Your kids need one stable parent, and if you're going to be better away from your wife than trying to coexist with her abuse, then please, I strongly urge you to look into that. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. See you all later.